Paul, thanks very much. Welcome, and it's great to have us with you here today.
Thank you.
Tour professional, hardwood flooring installer, and magician. That's quite a resume you've got there, and I look forward to delving down and exploring each aspect of that.
Let's get into it.
Hey, so obviously you're in Canada now.
Yep.
What do things look like over in Canada? Are you in lockdown, and what's happening with this awful COVID-19
not
situation?
lockdown like New Zealand was. Basically, the media is telling us to social distance. So in Canada, they say basically a hockey stick distance away from anybody. So 2 meters, I guess.
Yep.
And then they're asking people to stay home and only go out when necessary to go out. So they're not making it an official lockdown to whereas you'll get in trouble if you go out, but they're just they're making it very clear to stay away from other people, only go shopping if you absolutely need to go shopping, only go to work if you have no other choice. I'm not working right now. I got laid off just because we have no work to go to. Like I install hardwood floors, like you mentioned, and no one wants a stranger in their house right now, so for right now I'm collecting the it's called EI over here, employment insurance, and the government's got a little plan going while this COVID-19 lasts, and so I'm collecting that until I can go back to work.
Yeah, so the economic impacts are having an effect through the virus right now.
Yeah. A lot of people are able to work from home in this day and age. A lot of, office employees and so forth can work from home. I have a good buddy that's, he's a glass guy, installs glass, windows and shower doors and things like that. And he's still busy as he ever was. I've not got another guy that hangs drywall, and he's busy, but he's doing new construction. So they're basically keeping one trade in at a time in the new construction. I don't really do a lot of new stuff. I go into someone's existing house, rip up the carpet and put in a hardwood floor for them. And so it's a whole different kettle of fish. They got all their furniture in there, and right now no one wants you coming in and touching all their stuff, right? So there's a lot of trades are still working, and a lot of them, like myself, are out of work right now.
So I assume been fairly handy at woodwork. The house is looking pretty good at the moment. You've probably built a new cubby house and installed a new set of stairs.
I've been watching this guy from New Zealand giving tips on how to grow grass, and so I've been patching up the patches in the back lawn, and got that looking a little better, and doing my 3 or 4 waters a day, and like he told me to, and I'm surrounded by trees in my backyard, so it's very shady, so the grass doesn't grow very well. So, I'm homeschooling my daughter right now. My wife's a school teacher, but she's working every day frantically to get up online teaching. So that's happening over here, and so I'm able to spend 3 or 4 hours a day with my daughter and going over the math and the reading and the spelling and stuff. She's 8 years old, just turned 8, so we've been doing that, and then we're going for walks and bike rides and things, breaking it up a little bit. So I've been pretty busy doing that too.
So we've got the homeschooling going on in our household as well. Yesterday I mentioned that I had 3 of my kids in detention by 10 o'clock, and another was expelled by midday. This morning I couldn't even log the youngest fella on. So hey, look, there's always opportunities for cutting grass like his old man. So we don't need to get too serious at this point.
I tell my daughter my wife's the principal, and I'll send her into the office if she doesn't listen. So
fantastic.
But I'm the goofy guy that gives her treats, so she thinks she can get away with stuff with me. She probably can.
So Paul, Paraparaumu Beach, you literally grew up on the golf course.
Yeah. When how old was I? I was 10, I think, when we moved from Miramar to Paraparaumu, and bought the house that backed onto number 13 right next door to the Barron's house, Steve Barron's house there. And I didn't really pay attention to the golf course for a few years. And I think I was almost 14. I was kind of late 13s when I finally found Dad's clubs in a closet and snuck out and tried to hit a golf ball, and I was hooked right away.
Right. I mean, that's a fantastic spot setting up there on the crest of the hill. Opposite possibly one of the hardest shots on the golf course.
Well, I used to go out there behind my house in the deep rough, and kind of where I guess the trees are gone now, I'm not sure, but right behind my fence, and there was pine trees, and there was quite a bare patch because the trees, were shading the grass. And so I'd hit it over the rough, and I'd hit them out towards 3 green. And that way in the evenings when there was no one around, or down into the bare area between 13 and 15 where a tee shot on 15 would go, to the right on 15.
Yep.
And I'd just hit balls down there and go and pick them up. And it was a good place to practice, and then also wander over to 3 green and practice my bunker play around 3 green. And I used to love hitting bunker shots from 3 green to 15 green and try and spin them as much as I could. And it was a great area just to kind of play 13, 14, 15, 16, and then back to 13 again and do a little loop, when the course was quiet in the evenings. So it was a great spot.
Yeah, what a great backyard. Who were some of the other kids you were kicking around with in those days?
So Kurt Michelson, Ian Daniel, Philip Williams, Steve Williams' younger brother.
Is that Bob Daniels' son, would it be? Ian Daniel? Okay,
yeah.
Yep.
Bob and, why am I having a brain fart on his mum's name?
That's right. I should know this as well.
Leone. Leone. Yeah. So Ian was one of my best friends, and then Philip Williams, like I said, there was a bunch of juniors there. That was the main crowd after school was Kurt, Ian and Philip, and then a few of the other guys would show up from time to time. We had a really good junior program going then, thanks to Selwyn Fields.
Selwyn Fields,
Selwyn Fields. He kind of took it over, and that was his passion. Later in his life, there was to get the junior program up and running, and a lot of juniors interested in the game. So we had a good bunch of guys.
So were you largely self-taught? You said you picked up your father's clubs and just started hitting. I mean, how did that work?
So I played probably 3-4 months just slapping at the ball best I could, and then John Barron, Steve Barron's dad, John told my father, get Paul up to the clubhouse and get him. I wasn't even a member, I was just sneaking out. Became a member, and then Glenn Morrison was the pro at that time, and Glenn kind of took me under his wing, and so he taught me the fundamentals and helped me with my swing in my junior days, and just kind of kept an eye on me, made sure I wasn't getting too far offline. So he was really the one that kind of gave me the swing I have now. And I, after I left, I kind of did my own thing and tinkered, but his teachings are still there today, pretty much.
Now in those days, I understand it was relatively challenging for a junior to get access to tee times and into the club atmosphere. What was it like?
I didn't really. I mean, yes and no. Like I was going up there after school. I mean, I was coming home and basically walking on to the course out the back, and hopefully play 17, just walk across to 17 tee, play 17, 18 in if it was clear, or just kind of make my way to the practice fairway. I did a lot of practice fairway stuff. I wore that practice fairway out.
Right.
I was hitting balls more than anybody hit balls. And so I found a lot of enjoyment in just kind of being by myself and hitting balls. And then once the course kind of slowed down, I'd just sneak out and play. And as far as weekends went, we had time slots, I think, pretty early in the morning for juniors. I can't remember if it was both Saturday and Sunday or just one of the days, but we had a little time slot there for juniors and where we could play on weekends. And once I got good pretty quick. It didn't take long to get good. So then I was kind of able to play. I got asked to play a lot and I was able to play. I didn't find it too hard.
So I read just recently on one of your online posts that you had your first round in the 60s when you were just 15 years of age.
Yeah, so I basically took up golf right when I turned 14, or maybe just a month before I turned 14. And I shot in the 60s at 15, but that doesn't mean it was a year later. It was closer to 2 years later, but I was 15, if you know what I mean.
Okay, still impressive.
But
Did you play? You're
no,
right.
carry on. Yeah.
Did you play interclub during that period at all? Did you represent
Yeah,
the
so
golf club?
the junior one was Watt Cup. I don't know if that exists anymore, but it was
Oh
Watt
yeah.
Cup. And I can't remember the guys when I was, maybe Les Stock was playing Watt Cup. Maybe you're still young enough. I can't remember. There was a couple of other guys, I can't remember their names now, that were better than me. I was kind of coming in at the last man when I, first started playing. I was shooting kind of low 90s, high 80s. And then, like I said, I just practiced every day, and every hour I could be on a golf course, I was. And so pretty soon I was playing good, and then I moved up into the Duncan Cup. Can't remember what age I started playing that, maybe 16 years old. I think I can't remember for sure, but I remember playing a lot of interclub. That was one of my great memories of amateur golf, was the interclub. I loved it.
Yeah, so still as an amateur, 1984, the big circus rolls into town, the New Zealand Open, and an absolute, well, a superstar in the making, Corey Pavin, who went on to win that event.
Yeah.
But pictured at the prize giving was, and you must have been a very young Paul Devenport collecting the Bledisloe Cup for the leading
I think
amateur.
18. I was 18 at that time. So I'd already played 2 New Zealand Opens before that.
Right.
I played at Heratonga when I was 15.
Wow.
I got into that. I got my handicap down to 3, and there was no Monday qualifying or pre-qualifying, and there wasn't enough people entering for that kind of thing. So if you wanted to play, you had to be 3 or less back then, and I was. And so Glenn Morrison said, play. I was way over my head in there, but he said the more big tournaments you can play, the more experience you get, the better you'll be. So I played there, and I think I shot maybe 83-76. I was so nervous. Yeah. And so that was at Heratonga, or Royal Wellington, I think it is now. And then I played in Christchurch, I think at Shirley, I think. And so that might have been the year before Corey Pavin at Paraparaumu. So I'd had a couple of New Zealand Opens, so I kind of started feeling comfortable in that atmosphere. Maybe I think I might have played at Middlemore. I might have played 3 before that one.
Wow,
so so Glenn Morrison was behind that. He goes, just get out there and play as much big tournaments as you can. So yeah, I played that, and I think my rounds, if I remember right, were something like 75-70, 75-70, and a guy called Phil Mosley.
I know Phil.
He was leading
sure.
leading me and maybe another guy by 7 shots, maybe going into that last round. And he kind of fell apart, and I played a really nice solid round of 70, and was shocked to have to win the Bledisloe Cup, because I thought Phil had it locked up. But yeah, that was pretty cool.